Ladies and gentlemen, Qatar is the problem of Gaza, therefore Qatar should be the solution. Two interrelated questions bother everyone who deals with Gaza, both in Israel and abroad. The first one is, who will rule Gaza Strip if and when the rule of Hamas is eliminated? The second question is, how can you make sure that Hamas doesn't return to control the Strip? These two questions are based on the premise that the population of Gaza, numbering about 2 million people, remains in the Strip. The answer to both questions seems almost impossible because, first, there is no country in the world which wants to bring its soldiers into Gaza, not even Israel. Second one, there is no way to guarantee that Hamas terrorists will never return to control the Strip and prepare another version of October 7th for Israel. Therefore, the solution must be related to the source of the problem, and this is Qatar. Qatar has financed Hamas for many years, and thus Qatar allowed Hamas to acquire the sympathy of the Gaza population, purchase weapons, manufacture ammunition, dig tunnels, and establish the military force that carried out the huge terrorist act on October 7th. Qatar also funded the Hamas governmental system and the Al Jazeera channels in Arabic and English that Qatar operates promoted the interests of Hamas all over the world. Qatar is responsible, therefore, for creating the Gaza problem, and therefore Qatar must bear the consequences of this problem. Qatar's ruling family, Al Thani, has the power to resolve the suffering of the residents of Gaza Strip within 1 week. How? Since Qatar was able to host all the guests of the World Cup held in Qatar last year, they should certainly have no problem housing the residents of Gaza in those accommodation facilities, in Qatar's hotels as well, where Qatar hosts senior Hamas officials, and in temporary dormitories which Qatar can build in a short time thanks to the unlimited funds at its disposal. The transfer of 2 million residents of the Gaza Strip to Qatar can be carried out using the 269 planes of Qatar Airways in just 5 days, according to the following calculation. 2 million divided into 269 planes is about 7,500 people per plane. A normal plane carries out 300 passengers and will therefore need 25 flights to bring them. Assuming that a plane can make 5 flights from El Arish to Qatar per day, it's less than 3 hours flight, it will take only 5 days for Qatar to transport all the residents of the Gaza Strip to Qatar. The residents of the Gaza Strip will arrive at El Arish International Airport in Egypt, which is 50 kilometers from the Rafah border crossing, in Egyptian buses accompanied by the Egyptian police to make sure that they do not stay in Egypt. I'm more than sure that the residents of Gaza will even agree to walk 50 kilometers, which is like 30 miles, to get out of the Strip and reach El Arish. When the destination is Qatar, none of them will even try to stay in Egypt. If the Al Thani family of Qatar refuses to take responsibility and accept the residents of the Gaza Strip, there are 2 ways to convince them. The first way is a threat to expose the moral and financial scandals associated with this family. The second is an economic boycott on Qatar, cutting off their access to the international clearing network, and the confiscation of Qatar's large assets in banks, real estate, and companies in Western countries. Anyone who cares about the residents of Gaza should support this plan, because this is the only way to solve their problem and will teach any country that supports terrorism that it must pay the price for its actions. When Qatar, which is responsible for Hamas terrorism, hosts all the residents of Gaza, the world will start to become a better and safer place to live in. Thank you so much.